Hello, today I'm going to be checking out the B860M AORUS Elite WIFI6E, which is a micro ATX motherboard compatible with Intel's Core Ultra processors. So let's go ahead and get it unboxed and we'll take a closer look at it. So taking a look at what comes in the box with the motherboard, we've got some paperwork including our installation guide. We've got two SATA data cables, we've got our Wi-Fi antenna, and we've got a G connector for installing your front panel connectors. Taking a closer look at the motherboard and working along the bottom from left to right, first of all we've got a HD audio connector followed by two 3-pin 5V ARGB connectors, and then we've got a 4-pin 12V non-addressable RGB connector. We've then got two USB 2.0 headers followed by two system fan headers. We've then got a trusted platform module header, and we've got our system panel header at the bottom right hand side of the motherboard, and this is where you're going to plug in your front panel connectors, and we've also got chassis intrusion, speaker and power LED headers. Just above our system panel header we've got reset and clear CMOS jumpers. Working up the right hand side of the motherboard, first of all we've got 4 SATA ports followed by 2 Thunderbolt add-in card connectors. We've then got our USB Type-A front panel connector, and it supports speeds of up to 5 gigabits per second. And next to this we've got a HDMI 1.4 port, and you'll find this useful if you want to add an internal screen or sensor panel into your build. We've then got our front panel Type-C connector, and it will support speeds of up to 10 gigabits per second. And just above it we've got our 24-pin motherboard power connector. Behind it we've got our pump header, and then at the top right of the motherboard we've got our third and final 3-pin 5V ARGB connector. Just behind the ARGB connector we've got our debug LEDs, which you'll find useful if you need to troubleshoot your system. Working along the top of the motherboard we've got Q-Flash reset and power buttons. We've then got our CPU fan and CPU opt header, and then at the top left of the motherboard we've got two 8-pin EPS power connectors to provide additional power to our CPU. And just beside these we've got our third and final system fan header. The motherboard features a 6-layer PCB, and we've got a 12+1+2 twin digital VRM power design with large aluminium heatsinks over the VRM. In the middle of the motherboard we've got our LGA 1851 socket and standard mounting holes. We've got 4 RAM slots on the motherboard, and it will accommodate up to a maximum of 256 gigabytes of DDR5 at up to 9200 megatransfers per second overclocked. The motherboard has 2x16 size PCIe slots, and it's good to see our top one is reinforced. This is our Gen 5 slot, and it will run in x16 mode with the PCIe lanes coming from the CPU. Our bottom PCIe slot is a Gen 4 slot, and it will run in x4 mode with the PCIe lanes coming from the chipset. Removing your graphics card from the top slot is going to be really straightforward using the Easy Latch Plus button. We've got 3 M.2 SSD slots on the motherboard. There's 1 behind the top heatsink and 2 behind the bottom heatsink. The top slot is a Gen 5x4 slot with the PCIe lanes coming from the CPU, while both the bottom slots are Gen 4x4 slots with the PCIe lanes coming from the chipset. Taking a look at our rear I/O, first of all we've got 4 USB 2.0 Type-A ports. We've then got a DisplayPort 2.1 with 2 USB Type-A 5 gigabit per second ports beside it. The Type-C port is a USB 4 port, and it will support speeds of up to 40 gigabits per second as well as DisplayPort out. Beneath it we've got a HDMI 2.1 port, and again beside it we've got another 2 USB Type-A 5 gigabit per second ports. The 2 red USB Type-A ports beneath it are 10 gigabit per second ports, and then we've got a 2.5 gigabit per second Ethernet port beside it. We've then got the antenna points for our Wi-Fi6E and Bluetooth 5.3. And then at the bottom of the motherboard we've got our audio connectors, which consists of SPDIF out, mic and line out. So the motherboard is currently on sale, and in terms of pricing it will set you back just over £200 in the UK. So I'm just waiting for a case to arrive, and then I will be getting this motherboard onto a build on the channel fairly soon. If you have enjoyed this unboxing overview, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you're currently not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well.